Hello, Wellness Warriors. Today's video is me answering a viewer question, or actually it's more of a comment, but I switched up into a question because I thought there was something interesting there. Pam is Jamming commented, "My reason for low carb is insulin resistance. Not so much focused on weight loss at this point, just trying to get the carbs right." Very good information. I will have to review this video again, she says, but she goes on to say, "My weekends are the worst." Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. The reason that I make these videos is to help everyone to understand that your mental health and physical health come together to create your overall sense of well-being. And this is a good example of where our mental health could definitely be affected when we feel like we're constantly going off plan and hurting either our body or our weight loss progress. The truth is, most of us, even when we are doing a standard American diet, like most of us do well during the week just because we don't have time to eat a lot of junk, right? Unless your breakfast is a donut or something like that. Like most people are focused on work during their week. So the first thing that I want to point out that we all need to do, because when we are not working, then we're much more likely to be in front of triggers. And so when I say triggers, what I mean are scenarios where eating is seen as okay. It could be I'm watching television and I'm used to snacking while I watch television. It could be that I see a commercial of my favorite food, which reminds me that I have it in the pantry and then I run off and get it. It could be a number of things that puts the idea of eating or eating something specific in my mind when if I hadn't been in that situation, I wouldn't have been thinking of eating. Now, how do we manage triggers? I think the first part is actually noticing when they happen. We're so used to seeing commercials about food that we don't even realize that that commercial sends us to the kitchen. We need to notice that whenever I see a food commercial or whenever I sit in this scenario, I end up wanting to eat. The same way that, a lot of people who smoke had to start to realize that when they have an alcoholic beverage, they would pull out a cigarette, right? We connect things together that don't necessarily need to be connected together. It's not because I'm watching TV that I have to eat something. The best way to change that is to ask a question. Am I hungry? Right? Every time that you go to get food, before you get up to go get food, you should really stop and ask yourself, am I hungry? Because a lot of the time, what you're going to notice is that you're more munchy than hungry. So what's munchy? Munchy is that thing where you feel like chewing something, but your stomach is not actually hungry. You just want to be chewing on something. We all get this. And it's normal. But at the same time, is it necessary? If I have weight loss goals, if I have inflammation that I'm trying to solve, if I'm having insulin resistance issues that I'm trying to solve, when and what I eat is going to be super important. What I eat, of course, I would love to keep my carbs under 20 per day, but it's also the when. Every time I eat, regardless of what I eat, my insulin level will rise because fats cause insulin to rise. Protein cause insulin to rise. And so do carbohydrates, especially cause insulin to rise. It's not just about the fact that the snack is a carbohydrate snack or something else. It doesn't matter how big the snack is. When I eat, my insulin needs to come on board to manage what I just ate. That's how it functions. So verifying with yourself if you're actually hungry can help you to minimize the number of times that you go get something to eat when you weren't actually hungry. Part of verification, beyond asking yourself a question, could also be taking a sip of water and seeing, now do I still feel like I need to go eat something? Again, sometimes you'll realize that it was me just thinking about food. You need to hang around people who respect your food choices. On the weekends, we tend to be with family and friends because we're not working. If I'm hanging out with people who are not doing a ketogenic lifestyle, but I am, they're much more likely to put foods in front of me that are not in line with what I would like to be eating. So part one could be hang out with people who are also doing a ketogenic lifestyle. However, you're not going to change your entire friend system, your entire family system because you're doing keto and they're not. But I would at least ask them to respect that I'm doing keto. And what that might look like is either A, letting me know in advance what you're planning to serve so that if nothing on the menu suits me, I can bring my own food. Or B, working with me on making sure that they're making something that's in line with what I feel like I would be happy to eat that evening. Either of those could work. It's just a matter of having that conversation with the people in your life. And if these people love you, they're going to work with you because they want you to come over. So this one's tricky. Are you emotional? Feeling sad, feeling lonely, feeling bored, feeling angry, feeling frustrated? When we have these kinds of feelings, what we actually need to do is solve with people, right? Not with food. We need to solve with activities, not with food. If I'm bored, it's better for me to do something to alleviate my boredom, like go visit a friend or do my favorite sport or do my favorite personal activity that I might be able to do on my own, than it is for me to make a snack. But oftentimes that's what we end up doing. Oh, I'm bored, I'm going to eat some chips. Oh, I'm bored, I'm going to eat, some nuts. Oh, I'm bored, I'm going to eat some, I don't know, pepperoni sticks. Regardless of whether what I'm eating is keto or not, it doesn't change the fact that I just raised my insulin by eating something because I was bored. Now, another variant of this is celebrating. Because if I'm celebrating, do I need to be spending the entire time that I'm celebrating eating food? Although the answer to that question is no, how often does it actually happen that that's what we do? We arrive at a party and there's food in front of us, and while we're talking, we're snacking and we're eating. And then there's the meal, and then we have the meal, and then after the meal, there's the dessert. And basically the entire time that we're at the event, we're eating. Is the event about food, or is the event about getting together and celebrating someone's birthday, a holiday? If we don't allow ourselves to actually stop and think about why are we getting together, what is our goal here, what is our focus, then we do end up allowing all of that extra intake of food that's really unnecessary, but happening because everybody else is doing it, or happening because this is the expectation I have of a party. A party, a celebration of any kind, is not a reason to put your body in a situation where it's having to manage excess intake of nutrients, whether the nutrients are in line with your ketogenic lifestyle or not. It's super important for us to be conscious of the amount of food we ingest. And I'm not going to say that one day of overindulgence is going to totally ruin your situation. But again, I've had the story where multiple weekends in a row, I had birthday parties, Christmas, other family events of christenings and all kinds of things happening. And at that point, you have to stop and say, well, if every single weekend, or if like 10 weekends out of 12, I have an event happening, is it 10 weekends out of 12 that I'm going to overeat? How will that affect my weight loss progress, if that's what I'm doing, or my inflammation maintenance, if that's what I'm doing, because that is what I'm doing, right? It, of course, will affect my inflammation maintenance. Right? If I want to keep my inflammation low, I need to keep my carbohydrates low, which means I need to be conscious of what I'm eating. Even if what I'm eating is in line with my ketogenic lifestyle, if I eat too much of it, the chance that my carbohydrate number gets high is very, very high. We need to be honest with ourselves. So the other thing that I need you to think about when we're talking about how do we manage our weekends and how do we understand why it is that on the weekends we are overindulging in food, part of it is being honest. Do I like my weekends? Do my weekends play out the way that I want them to play out? Do I see the people that I want to see? Do I do the activities that I want to do? Am I happy with my life on the weekend? In actuality, if when the weekend arrives, I'm sad, then there's a high probability that because I'm sad, now I'm going to engage that emotional eating thing, which is going to put me in that cycle of the dopamine hit, making me feel better, but then making me feel bad. And I need more of it to make me feel better, and et cetera, et cetera. It's important to be honest with yourself. Why are you overeating? What's happening? What is it about your life, your situation that you're not enjoying? Because not liking my life can influence whether or not I indulge in foods. Because when I indulge in sugar, especially, I get that dopamine hit, which temporarily lets me feel good. Temporarily. It didn't change my situation. If I'm lonely, I'm still lonely. I just ate something. I have a temporary hit, but then I'm back to this. We do have the ability to change things in our lives if we focus on them. That means actually actively looking at the problems and finding solutions that will solve those problems. If I'm not being honest with myself about why my weekends are so hard, then I won't be able to find a solution for my weekend. I need everyone to understand that if it's a trigger, I need to look at those triggers. If it's emotional, I need to look at those emotional things. If my life is not the way that I want it to be, I need to look at my life, make some adjustments so that I'm not becoming emotional, leading to me emotionally eating, right? There are so many things in our life that might not be functioning well. We might not like our job. We might not like the people that we're hanging out with or the lack of people that we have. We might not like our relationship. You need to figure out what it is that's causing you distress. If there's something in your life, solve it. If it's food triggers, address them. If it's emotional, like when I'm happy, when I'm sad, this is what I've been taught to do. Look at that directly. Being at a healthy weight does take effort. It does take work. Being happy takes work. If we want these things in our lives, we need to be able to put in the effort, put in the energy, put in the work that it takes to have these things come to fruition for us. I want you guys to go out there, be the wellness warriors that you are, address the problems directly. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like the video. That would really help me out. If you're new here, subscribe because I make new videos every week. Ring that bell so you know when I'm going to make my next video. I want to thank you all for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. I will talk to you next time.